Delay. I signed in with some details that I had, and I don't know what happened. I ended up just doing a webinar for 8 minutes for myself, trying. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. I am here. How are you guys doing? Please type in the questions section to let me know you can hear me. Say hello. Sounds good. Hey, Bill. Hey, Joseph. How you guys doing? Everybody doing good tonight? Again, so sorry for the delay. You can see my screen okay? And okay. Alright guys, tell me you are deep in a tournament. You are deep in a tournament, and Philip, this is going to be a bit of a review for you, so don't answer for anyone. But just while we're working on something, I don't have any hand histories from you guys, so I'm just going to go with some things I've been working on. What do you guys think of this guy's raise right here? He's deep in a tournament. He's got a kid with a hoodie and sunglasses on, kind of aggressive on the button. And you got a guy, really loose recreational player in the big blind. He's got about 30 big blinds. He goes ahead and raises to 2.25x. Thoughts on the raise? Roy says, good. I don't know if that was for whatever we were discussing. Too loose. Loose. Big blind is okay. We got, would say loose. Bit loose. It is. I actually like you guys. A lot of people are not. I show this quiz to hundreds of people, and the response I get 90% of the time is, hey, that's fine. That's okay. How about Jack 10 suited here? What would you think? If you could change anything with Jack 10 suited here besides the hand, what would you do? Jack 10 suited. Brian says he still wouldn't. 2.7k. Let's say there's about 1.13k in the middle. What do you think of raising to 3.5x? The issue is, what are you going to do if you get 3-bet, Birch says. It's a good question. Howard Banks says 3x. What do you guys think of 3.5x? 3.5. Anybody got an idea on 3.5? Any opinion? Roy says it's a good bet. Why? There's a lot of chips out of your stack. This is true. Jack 10 suited maybe call when min raise or shove. Says Benno. What do you guys think? What are most players doing with Jack 9 suited right then? You guys are off on some other tangent I don't understand reading the questions thing. You think most players fold here? I think people have begun a prolific opening spree. What do you guys generally play? Let me write down in my notepad. What are you generally playing? Want to find out. You guys are going in a bunch of different directions that are confusing me. It's a big blind, then call, a reasonable raise. I am so confused. The problem here is if you do raise there, let's say it's Jack 10 suited. Let's tighten it up because you guys, Jonathan Little teaches you what in my mind is proper form, which is tighter poker. I think tighter poker, it's really hard to lose money with tighter poker. It's really easy to poke through and grab a tournament win. So this guy is illustrating a very easy defense with the 2.25k to 5.65k. Small stakes game, I'm opening this hand 2.25x. Let me ask you, Wes, let me ask you, everyone. Let's say it comes around to you here. I'm going to give you two options. Well, my boy folded here. This was just an example, but let's say you have Jack 10 suit. Let's say you have Jack 9 suited here and you call. What's the... Let's say you have Jack 9 suited here and you call. Jack 10 suited and you call. Do you think that's a good play or a bad play? It's a bad play. Good. Yeah, it's generally pretty flaky. If you make it 3.5x here, what happens? I have asked that question no less than 5 times, and I still have not gotten a response. Let's go again. You make it 3... The cops come after you, exactly. 3.5x. Does anyone want to do it, or do you guys want to fold, rather? You got a big blind who flops any pair, any high card, he gets all in. We got to fold, fold, and do it. Am I going to get any other? Rather fold than raise to 3.5x. This is where you and I differ. This is something I've been working on a lot. Who can tell me the reasons you raise pre-flop? There are 4 things. There are 4 things. I always love it when people get the answer in after I announce what my answer is. Oh yeah, I agree, 3.5x. What are the 4 things you want when you raise pre-flop? If you were throwing a pitch in baseball, it would be location, it would be speed, it would be the curvature of the throw. What are you looking for in poker? He folds to better hands. No, I'm talking about a pre-flop raise. Talking about a big pre-flop raise. Build pot, fold equity, Chuck says. Then we'll fold most of the time and raise if. Very good point, Jonathan. To get one-on-one. Good, good. Get equity, fold equity. Look at this. Even if you go to like a 3.1x, look how awkward his 3-bet's going to be here. This is a structuring thing. Now he's got to put in about 1/3 of his chips. This is something I've been working on. When you raise from the hijack here, who do you want to play against? You don't... You want to play against the big blind. Exactly. Who do you not want to play against? Let me put you in a situation. Let's say on the hijack, you can raise your entire, let's say an entire 15% range, okay? So going down to pretty good suited connectors, big cards, stuff like that. But you cannot 4-bet versus a 3-bet on the button. Do you think you can make money? Simo Birch says yes. Let's say this. Let's say a guy 3-bets. Let's say I have a guy automatically. Let's put it this way. The button 3-bets you and your only options are to flat or to fold. Can you find a way to make money here? Let's put it that way. That makes it a little more simple. You get 3-bet on the button. The 4-bet is taken away from you. Can you make money? I like to teach poker in the sense that everybody is afraid of simplifications. I love simplifications. People say you want to be careful you don't simplify too much. I think that's BS. When you go out to a golf lesson, how do they teach you how to drive the ball? Do they throw everything they think? Does the guy tell you everything he's ever thought about driving the ball? No. It says focus on your hips, your back, your arms, whatever it is. When you go into the gym, do they give you every idea they've ever had for CrossFit? Or is it back straight, core tight most of the time? No, it's just a few thoughts. Yet when you get poker coaching, what do you get? Everything the guy's ever thought about poker's entire life. As if you're supposed to just get his experience through osmosis. One of the reasons I work with Jonathan Little is he's very good at simplifying matters into a way that can get you getting some wins. Now, you are going... Are you going to be crushing like Fedor Holz with a few books? No, but you want to get some big wins. A big win when you learn how to cook the first time is just cooking for your spouse the first time. It doesn't have to be fancy. The first time you get a salmon fillet and you put a little garlic on it and you put it in the oven and it comes out decently and you serve it up with a little spinach, it looks nice. It gives you a win. It gets you motivated. You want to learn more about cooking. Let's try for that. So I have a few ideas. Here are my ideas. If you can avoid a guy in position playing against you, at all costs you must do so. If you raise to 2.5K here, which would be the typical raise, how often, what are you actually trying to do? Let's break down poker into that. A lot of you guys can't even answer that. I couldn't for a long time. You're trying to get folds. You're trying to get value from your hand. You're trying to get everybody to fold around. How often does everybody fold around these days? Do people fold around? Let's see. If you risk 2.5K, now in the middle right now, there is 1.13K in antes. There's about 2.63K, okay? So we'll just make it 2.5K. You risk 2.5K to win 2.5K. That means 5K comes back to your stack when you're right. Excuse me, 2.5K divided by 5. Your bet needs to work 50% of the time. Let's say there's 2.5K out there, right? Let's say there's 2.5K out there. Now let's say you make it 3.5. You're risking 3.5 and the size of the pot that's going to come back to you is going to be 6K. Your bet needs to be 8% more effective. That's a complete bluff. Does that sound like it needs to be that much more effective? Does that sound like a lot? No. It doesn't. But how do people treat that 3.5K? What is this? This nit has 10s plus, ace king plus. They don't know. You must be a nit. I have a friend of mine really deep into WPT right now. She just keeps opening at 3.5x or something. And you are going to get at least one caller with a 2.5x bet. Thank you, Roy. They say you have jacks. Exactly. So what do? Or you have aces. They're going to call and try to crack aces. Who is the most likely person to play against you if you make it 3.5x here? Exactly. The big blind. Thank you, Simo. It's going to be the big blind. What did I say about the big blind at the beginning? He's got all the chips. All the chips. And he's spewing them out. Why do you want to play against the kid in position? But if 3.5, why not larger to incorporate antes? Again, you're going in a direction I don't understand. Yeah, you could go to 4x. Could go to 4x. But what does the vast majority of the population do? Hey, dog, shut up. How many 3.5x raises have you seen from regulars over the past few years? 2.5x. 3.5x. You think big blind's going to play tighter hands. Okay. No, he's getting it shit. Come on. What's the trend right now? Call it. I'll tell you what the trend is. Well, I'm getting a reduced price, so I call. I call. People do not show up at the card room to fold. They want a reason to play. And if they think you are stupid, as this raise size is likely to make them think you're stupid, they're going to call more. I found myself deep in a tournament in the Bahamas, and I looked around and I said, every one of these players is better than me. This is where this strategy came from. I looked around, I thought, all these guys play cash. They play 5-10, 10-25. What am I going to do? Then I decided I'd go to 4x. I go to 3.5x. And everybody did the same thing. This is the stupidest race. Would you guys be quiet? This is the stupidest race. You're so stupid. The big blind would tell me you're so dumb. I can't believe you. I call. Board comes out. They don't crack aces. They check fold. Think about that. That's 3.54 big blinds every time. Philip asks, why 3.5x and not 3x or 4x? Do you think the villain on the button... Hey! Stop it! Why 3.5x and not 3x or 4x? Do you think the villain on the button folds more versus a 3x and a 3.5x and a 3x? That is a good question, and that's where the art comes in for poker. That is a good question. I tend to think there's different categories. There's 2x, 2.5x, 3x, and anything beyond 3.5x. Everything, if you make it 2.7, most people see that as 2.5. You make it 2.9, most people see that as 3. But there's a reason used car dealerships sell things for $299, $2,999 as opposed to $3,000. And I think if you go anything beyond 3x, you're an idiot. Everybody just sees you as an idiot. What are the 4 things you want when you raise pre-flop? Philip knows these. What are the 4 things you want? I'm going for simplification. That he folds every... I'll give them to you. Anyone know who Matthew John is? I want you all to imagine Matthew John. Matthew John, by the way, is the smartest person there is in poker. But he has a lisp. If they want to throw down with me, I'm going to throw down, guys. And I imagine him saying PB Sandwich. PBSH. Position, bigger pot, superior hands, heads up. And if you want, you can add aggressor. Jonathan Whiters asks, are you always folding to aggression post-flop when villain big blind calls your 3.5x and you miss? That is I have no idea what that question means. If I c-bet and they check raise me, yes, they generally have it. If that's what you mean. But again, if I flop a straight flush, probably no. Let's not go too far with our generalizations, gentlemen and ladies. So, what does PBSH stand for? Position, bigger pot, superior hands, heads up. So, let me look at, well, Hold'em Manager would come up a little goofily right now. Before, when someone has more than 2 pair or greater, what do they do? Let's pull up a hand history. Let's pull up a hand history. We're going to... I didn't receive any hand histories for this, so I'm going to use my own. This is my research. So, this is a hand... If this computer has frozen, I apologize to all who can hear me. Okay, great. I think it's back up. Over here, I have a player, a much better player than most of you guys. This was his attempt to flat 3-bets out of position over several 100,000 hands. His result, saved about 3/4 of a big blind. Still lost money. I'm living in a world where this is considered good. Now, pretty much any raise is going to show a profit over that. But how often do you think How often do you think people 3-bet you without a hand when you open beyond 3x? How often? Roy says never. Now that's not to say you should always go for it. But right now there's a very much of a bias that people don't do. This was me trying to figure out if the 3x to 4.5x works. So that's 116 big blinds per 100. Quite a bit different than... Since nobody's going to 3-bet you, we can assume it's desirable to have this over when somebody 3-bets you. If they 3-bet you, when I was trying this on the Winning Poker Network, nobody 3-bet me ever. I got 3-bet like twice, and it was aces. One time I had to call, I had it, aces. I had kings or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it happened like 8 other times and I don't remember, but it was so negligible, I do not recall. Let's bring up some hands. Oh, Hold'em Manager is taking its time to start. How are you guys doing? Anyone having a question? Actually going to play at 7. Good luck to you, Brian. I have not gotten to play poker for a little while. A few weeks. Maybe just a week or 2. Still working a lot. Just moved to Jersey. So, you 3.5x pre-flop raise more often? Well, one thing I want to say. When you bet the river, do you always bet half pot? Do you always bet quarter pot? Do you always bet 3/4 pot? Do you always bet pot? No, you change it based on the situation. I change things based on situations. Sometimes I think I can get to the big blind. I'm always trying to get the big blind. I'm always trying to isolate the big blind. Big blind's the worst player in No Limit Hold'em. Big blind player plays a big pot out of position and doesn't understand why he's losing money. Big blind player is the reason I got a job in 2017. I'm always trying to isolate him. So if I think I can do that with 2x, that's fine. If I think I can induce a weak 3-bet that I can 4-bet over, I 2x. If I think I can get a lot of value out of the big blind, making it 3.5x, I make it 3.5. It's an imperfect science, but I wanted to open your guys' mind to this. I also think this is a really good expression of PBSH. Oftentimes PBSH can be applied if you focus on just getting the big blind. Then you have position, a bigger pot, superior hand, heads up, 9 times out of 10. The way you can do that very securely is go from 2.5x to 3.22. People ponder, look at it differently, don't know what to do with it. If the big blind is a guy that calls very wide, should we make our sizing bigger? Yeah, if you think you can get... Yeah, I like making it 4x. Here's the thing. What do most people do when they miss the flop? Do they raise you, do they call you, or they fold? A lot of people will call pre-flop. Then on the flop, they fold. They've seen 5 of the final 7 cards. So the more money you get him to call pre-flop, the more money you collect when he misses. If you raise to 4x pre-flop and he folds 50% of the time, that's 2 big blinds. You know how hard it is to make 2 big blinds with air? If you raise to 3.5, it's going to be 1.75. If you raise to 3, it's going to be 1.5. Let's pull up a hand from... This is confusing. Okay. Let me off screen make sure I am not revealing any of my students' names, as that will probably get me a very angry email tomorrow morning. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. How the hell does anyone keep good posture with a microphone? Can you guys hear me okay from right here? Alright, good. Okay. So I'm just going to fish out a random hand history. 10-4 rubber duck. Thank you, Salvatore Caride. Alright, good, good. And so the last time I played poker, so let's see. Damn, that was a lot longer than a couple weeks ago. To celebrate my great country still having freedom, I played on 9/11. And let's just pull up a random hand history. And we will show how this works in practice. Essentially, what I do right now with my private lessons is I have tons of videos you watch on your free time because I don't like repeating myself and I say many of the same things. Just like if you got a piano teacher, they would make you do the same hot cross buns or simple songs to begin. I have the same things. In personal lessons, I figure out what actually ails you, what gives you problems, and then I try to fix it. And one of the ways I'm doing this is focusing on your form. It is like the golf coach watching you hit a golf ball, trying to see exactly what's wrong, or your trainer, trying to see how you do a deadlift. So I'm going to pick, I did have a deep run in one of these. Let's find one. Let's find a deep run. Let's find it. I had a deep run, a $30 tournament. I was trying to get a final table at a 30. I finished like 14th. A lot of my students play like $30 tournaments. A lot of my students play like really low stakes tournaments. So I tried to play a couple of those. Got one final table, final 18 or whatever. They kept telling me, oh, your stuff doesn't work. It worked the first night I tried. So that wasn't true. Here. Okay, we'll do this one. I've gone through this hand history too before, so this'll be fun. This is a good one. Just making sure I'm not picking a dud. Alright. Once this comes up, we'll get right into it. I'm gonna get a sip of coffee. What y'all sipping on tonight? Chuck, I like that coffee. Howard, Brian, good. Rose tea, I guess Joseph said. All right. Bacardi. Are you more often on the webinar? Float the Torn would be great when you were on the team of coaches. We're figuring that out. Stay tuned. All right. I appreciate that though, Benno. I really do. All right. So let's go through some hands. Jonathan Little is a very good friend of mine. He's very, very kind to me. So I definitely like helping him out, coming out to do these. It's also nice getting to meet you people. By the way, if you want to get in touch with me personally, the name is alex@pokerheadrush.com. I appreciate you, Wiz. All right. 4-point system. So, I am in Kearny, New Jersey, and I am not playing on PokerStars New Jersey yet. Just settling in, getting my business set up again. Seeing my girlfriend. She didn't see me for a couple months before I came here. As you can imagine, she was pretty pissed. What is my 4-point system, everybody? Say it to me. Research proves you will memorize this if I make you do this enough. I read books about teaching to learn how to teach poker. Isn't that fun? Come on. Maybe it's an abbreviation. Come on. PBSH. Good, Howard. What does PBSH stand for, Howard? And guys, you're supposed to mess up. You're supposed to be on the mat sweating. You're lapping everybody, eating hostess. Position, bigger pot, superior hands, heads up. Well done, Philip. How'd you do that? And if you want, you can add a 5th point, which is aggressor. Now, there are 2 types of hands, or you can give that up. The 2 types of hands are small pairs and suited connectors. Philip is a mind reader. Suited connectors and small pairs play very well in multi-way pots. However, generally, I'm not really good with analogies for European sports, but if you guys have ever seen baseball, I think one of the greatest analogies for poker is the pitching position of baseball. If you are a major league pitcher, there is rarely a day you show up and you do not get screwed at least once. You got to remember, those guys, like, they fought from Venezuela, from Japan, from the Netherlands island, the Hollandese islands, Dutch islands, there it is, in the Caribbean. Those guys fought all their way up there, and every day they throw these pitches. If you guys see a baseball go 96 miles an hour just once, you will never think you could hit one. And these guys will throw these perfect pitches, and once or twice a game, they just get rocked. Sometimes people just get rocked. It happens. Poker is a lot like, if you line up PBSH, it's like throwing a 98 mile an hour fastball in the corner of the strike zone. Yes, there's a good chance a really good hitter will knock it out. Yes, there's a chance it'll leave your arm at a weird angle and it'll somehow go to the middle of the strike zone. Yes, there's a chance somebody could hit a grand slam off it. Generally, you're going to be okay. It's like Messi taking the penalty shot. 90% of the time, you're good. 1 time out of 10, something weird happens. 1 time out of 5, something weird happens. I don't want you guys focused on the money. You focus, when they teach people MMA, there's no, like, let's get you wins. It's all about the form and conditioning. You'll hurt yourself until you figure that out. They tell them before they go into their sparring matches, focus on your form. Don't worry about winning or losing. The problem with poker is you don't realize your form is gone until the tournament is over. If your form leaves you in the middle of a boxing match or an MMA fight, you get slapped upside the head. You learn really quickly. You might get rewarded in poker. You might get rewarded for 4 years. And then you lose. So you always want to make sure your form is on point. And I really think the best way to do that is with analytics. And the analytics show you line up PBSH. Imagine... Now, how would we apply PBSH here? You guys want to call, raise, fold? What you all want to do? We got a fold by Howard. Bit of a tight fold. That's good when you're starting out. I think once you get a little bit more advanced, you can play this from the button. Okay, if you raise, how much do you want to raise? Somebody said raise or fold. I think you could call here. Well, let me ask you a question. What do you want to happen? Do you want everybody to fold? Do you want one guy to call? Or do you want everybody to call? Let's clarify our expectations. Simo says everyone fold. And he says 3 times plus previous bet plus big blind plus small blind. Salvatore says everyone call. Chuck says all fold or one call. I want one guy to call. That way I secure position, a bigger pot. Here, let me get it this way, okay? I'm pretty damn good at the pokers. So I'm running with a 3.5 PBSH here. I have position, I have a bigger pot. I don't have a superior hand, but I have half a hand, okay? And I want to be heads up. I think if I get all of those things post-flop, I'm going to take a lot of money from someone. You guys want to go for a 4-point PBSH. So you would prefer to have like ace-jack offsuit here. If you want to edge toward the fold, that's good. If you want to edge toward the fold, how much should you raise to? Give me a number. Working on your pre-flop right now. We'll work on base running some other time. Right now, I want to make sure you can hit the ball. We'll work on triple plays another time. Right now, I want to make sure you can throw it to first. "4x," says Howard. "3x," says Chuck. So 100? 1,000. Oh, 1,000. Excuse me. I misspoke. 1,000. Well, remember, we're trying to get everybody to fold, or we want one caller. This is where a lot of guys mess up. If you make it 1,000 here, I think you're getting 2 callers a lot of the time. Because I don't know why, but the big blind, let's define most poker players. Most poker players are not successful. They are fans. The same way some people are fans of, as you can clearly tell, I'm a fan of baseball, as the way some people are fans of opera, they are fans of poker. When they show up, they come to play. They did not think about this all day so they could fold. Now, there's only a few positions where they are socially acceptable to call. One is the big blind. Do not give them a reason to call. Go to 1,500 here. 1250, I go to 1250 here because I'm being a little arrogant. I just really want somebody to play with me. Good, you guys are seeing. Okay, so that was a 3.5 PBSH, okay? All right. Give me a play, everybody. Take your shot. Somebody tell me what PBSH stands for. Someone other than Philip. Then tell me how you're going to apply. Wes says fold. How much equity needs to call your raise? Position, bigger pots. We got that. Position, bigger strength hands. Position, bigger pots. Position, bigger strength hands. Is that... Oh my God, he got that. Well, all of those are right, but... I mean, all of those match the letters, but that's... It is position, bigger pot, superior hands, heads up. Thank you, Chuck. That's a PBSH. How do you execute PBSH here, everybody? Talk to me. And be the aggressor. Attaboy, Chuck. That's the It's a 3.5 open, CMO says. So, what do you mean? That's 3.5 points on the PBSH scale? Or you want to go to a 3.5x? I'm going to test you. This is how I teach. You guys are getting a free lesson. People pay hundreds of dollars for this. Come on. Look alive. 3.5x, CMO says. Anybody care to disagree? You have this pull on my coffee to disagree. No one disagrees. 3.5x is fine. 1050 is fine. 3x, Chuck. Who do we not want to play? We don't want the button to play. The button is able to line up PBSH on us. We're screwed. Remember that graph I just showed you? Remember the analytics I just showed you? The guy facing a 3-bet and trying to make something happen. Really good player, couldn't make it work. That guy's made like $500,000 at poker. I'm guessing most of you haven't done that. He still couldn't make it work, and he's done it over a long time. Okay? That's a $500,000 like online. We're not even talking like live or whatever. Okay? Any cost, you get rid of Captain Sparrow. I don't mind 3.5x. I don't mind 4x. 3x, I think, is cutting it too close. Let's see what we go with here. Fish. Fish. Look what just happened. Look what just happened. See? If you made it like 999, how hard would it have been? How hard would it have been? See? He's screwed. It's over. You have lost the advantage. Okay. I do have a post-flop system as well. That one's much more complex. We'll see if we get into it. Post-flop starts with always be betting. You heard Alec Baldwin say always be closing. I am Alex Baldwin and I'm saying always be betting. Don't raise here. This is a super arrogant raise. This was a $30 tournament and I did rah, I'm good at poker. I felt I could do it. I don't want you guys doing that. Put that coffee down, Mr. Birch says. Well said. You guys ever seen the show, Mr. Bircham? There's one episode online. Look it up. I really hope everybody folds that 8-4 off. I know everybody and their mother calls the big blind now, but well, I'll tell you, I've done a lot of research on it. I'm not in love. I do it a lot, but I think it's completely overblown. I used to call a lot in 2010. Everybody told me you're terrible, you're a fish, yada yada. Now they tell me I don't do it enough. Apparently, anyway. All right, gentlemen and ladies, what do you want to do here? You probably should fold. So I raise. You know. I was playing a $30 tournament. I should have taken it a little more seriously. All right, gentlemen and ladies, what do you want to do? By the way, there's not that much equity. Well, let me talk about fives here. Fives has one thing going for it. I wasn't gonna try to explain this because I don't want you guys raising 6-9 suited. I think I fold that 9 times out of 10. I think I had my metal on too loud or something. Fives has a really good thing that it either has a ton of equity on the flop or it has none. You don't want something that you don't want a hand that has some equity on every flop. Like Ace-6 offsuit technically has more equity than 6-7 suited, but you don't want to play that hand because it has, when it flops a ton of equity versus your opponent's folding range, and it has a ton of reverse implied odds versus your opponent's continuing range. 6-9 suited allows you to double barrel, triple barrel if you are in team triple barrel camp, because you hit lots of draws and you can keep firing. I was trying to set up some triple barrels for analysis, so I opened that hand, but you should fold that hand. Fives has something really good for it, which is it either flops really big or whatever. And let's see. If you want to play, let's see. Yeah, I just want that big blind. I want that big blind to call me. I'm looking at this 43K bet. I'm looking at this 43K guy right here. I'm thinking he's going to call and just check fold. And if everybody keeps folding, that's fine by me. Moving forward. Somebody said raise small to get a big multi-way pot. Yeah, whatever you think will get called mostly. Notice how I go to the same sizing. I don't like just suddenly go, okay, 850. And here we go. So these were the raises back in 2004. Yep. They didn't work back then nearly as much because everybody was doing them. What really worked back then was rejamming. Rejamming was huge because people gave up 3 big blinds every time they did it. So, all right. What do you guys think you should do? Got one call. He jammed on us. Call. Yeah, I go with the call here. Bob. And he does have pocket eights. And, okay. There is a way you can call there, but it's really, I think it's much better you fold there on average. You can call there if the guy like raises 25% of the hands plus and c-bets all the time, and you're always going to check raise the flop, but that doesn't happen that often. Who has heard of Newark, New Jersey? I'm living in a suburb of that city right now. When I go through the train station, I play a game. See if I can get out the door without somebody asking me for money. Takes me about 40 seconds to leave the train station. I have never won that game. Ever. Costa Rica seems like it would be much better until you realize they have an 85% unsolved rate on homicide. So if anybody doesn't like you, you know, whatever. They can just knock you off. And, you know, they can escape back into Colombia where there's been a civil war for 50 years. Beautiful volcanoes, though. Sounds like the same game I play after I get off work in Detroit. Yeah. I miss Costa Rica quite a bit. But I'm pretty happy to be here. Do you go back to 2.25, 2.5 big blinds raised when you get down to 15, 20 big blinds? Excellent question. Yes, I do. Or any point before you're shoving? Yes, I do. I just, you know, this was a tournament I played specifically to illustrate PBSH for students. And I did end up getting the chip lead in the money and running it into the ground in this tournament, even though it was an experimental tournament. All right. Let's see. I don't know. Tell me what you guys are thinking right here. Okay, flat. Position, bigger pots, superior hands, heads up. Howard. I'm always looking at the raise first and the c-bet because I'm thinking check raise a lot of the time. If the guy's raising like too many hands. There's a lot of guys that raise way too many hands. If it's an early open, it's a tight open, I'm just flatting. Good rule of thumb is whenever the next street is really likely to be played, be prepared for that street. Good rule of thumb right there. Now, we go ahead and we call. And Grenade goes ahead and bets. Well, if you're going to play the next street for sure, prepare for that street. You wouldn't move a piece in chess without being prepared for the next move, right? It's the same thing in No Limit Hold'em. If you're going to call here, for sure you're going to have a flop. So try to think of some ways you're going to play the flop. Does the guy c-bet too much? Start thinking about whether you're going to check raise or call him more. Does the guy never c-bet? Think about donk betting or check folding. Just start thinking about it. This is the kind of stuff that'll get you there. Okay, the guy c-bets here. What do you guys want to do? If I told you he's raising 20% of the hands and he's c-betting 75% of the time, what would you do? I'm going to teach you all a trick that changed my game. Probably shouldn't be. When you check raise here, what do people think you have? Flush or a draw to it. When was the last time you saw a guy check raise with the ace of diamonds here? Picture, what was he wearing? Yeah, it's been a while, right? Remember the numbers I gave you guys? Everybody's saying set or the flush. Two pair plus nut flush draw plus over sometimes, yeah. I did just start Flopzilla. I'm not really sure why it's not popping up. Everything goes slower when I'm streaming, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, please tell me I'm recording this. Okay, I'm recording. Great, great, great. Okay. Okay. To call would be a better play with ace king suited. Yeah, you guys are doing this thing where you think they're thinking. A lot of people just want to play their hand. Remember, they're fans in poker. They're not poker players. By the way, a lot of so-called professionals are fans in poker. So let's say I had 20%. So let's say I said 20%, they were c-betting 85% of the time. When a guy c-bets 85% of the time, what do you think he checks back with on that board? Let's give him a few suited aces. There you go. That's 20%. It's pretty. We'll take out Jack 9 suited. We'll take out King 9, Queen 9. There you go. All right. Low pocket pairs. Value hand or non-value hand? Come on, guys, wake up. They checking back value or nothing? Putting me to sleep now. Not missing Monday Night Football for this. Come on, let's go. Value. Middle pair, some weak top pair, bottom pair, some give ups, but not many. Check back, nothing. I think Phillips got it the best. That's the most, when I play a lot, that's about it. How often does my bet need to work here? Someone show me the math. Here's the calculator. I'll enter anything you want. 50, how'd you get that? No, I didn't say give me the answer. I said show me how to do it. What do I do? Come on, teach me. Risk divided by risk plus reward. Well done. There it is. Well done, everybody. Two good answers right there. 2680 divided by 5640. This bet needs to be successful 47.5% of the time. What percentage of the hands does the original c-better need to defend? How about 53? 10 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds. Now, I'm going to have him c-bet the entirety of his range, which I think, this, how you got the second number, Benno, is whatever is left of 100 after how often the bet needs to work. Because if the guy only plays 50% of the time, he logically folds 50% of the time, therefore the play is profitable with any two cards. So he needs to defend 53% of the time. I will have him c-betting his entire range. I think that's an adjustment that assists him, because I don't know about you, but if I have like 9-8 of hearts, I don't check back here when a guy just checks to me. Just called from the big line and checks me. Or not 9-8 of hearts, that gives us a straight draw. I'm not checking 4 hearts, 4 clubs. I'm not checking ace of hearts, jack of clubs. Maybe I'll check 8s with the 8 of diamonds. So you see, having him c-bet everything is actually pretty helpful to him. So now what we do is we put a blue filter next to everything we think is defending. So does he defend a straight flush? Well, there is none. A flush, yes. A set, yes. An overpair, most likely. A flush draw, yeah, most likely, since those all have overpairs. Top pair, yeah, most likely. Top pair with a flush draw, of course. Let's say, let's just give him all top pairs. And let's say, He's probably not going to defend with just a bear, like just queen of diamonds, so we won't put that there. Pocket pair below top pair. I don't know. I'm not defending with 9s or 8s there. So we put a blue filter next to what I think is every hand that's playing, and that's about 48% of the time. So how often is he folding? Come on, guys. If he's playing 48% of the time, how often is he folding? 52. How often does our bet need to work? Needed to work this much, 47.5. You have a clear winner here. Now, people say, what if he has a checking range? Well, I think most checking ranges here. By the way, I have him defending with, like, the king of diamonds. If we take out the king of diamonds here, any king of diamonds that doesn't have a pair, he's actually folding 57% of the time. If we do add in a checking range, we usually have to take out, we'll take out like some 8s and 9s, that would help him, but we do have to take out some 10s, and that hurts him. This play is a dynamite check raise. I do it all the time. One thing that'll help you, I started this sentence, then I forgot to finish it. One thing that helped me expand my game is I just got home. Andrew Brokos put this the most succinct way. It's always consider one other play. First off, make sure all your plays clear. Pull out Flopzilla, pull out Card Runners EV, learn how to use them. You are talking to a guy who failed a math exam to get into junior college and was told he had to go back to 9th grade math. So if I can learn how to use this crap and write a book about it, you guys have no excuse. That's why I have very little patience for people that don't do it. Okay? There's free videos by Splitsuit on how to use Flopzilla. There's free videos galore on Card Runners EV made by the creator of it. Yes, they're a little dry. I'm sure going to law school would be fairly dry as well. Matthew John is fantastic at putting them together, etc. I have a book, by the way. It's called The Myth of Poker Talent. It'll show you how to use all of these. My publisher wanted to kill me because I sent like 200 images, but I said, this stuff isn't that easy. At least it wasn't for me. You know, I only got a couple minutes left with you guys. I put in an hour. I know I was supposed to leave 11 minutes ago. If I could tell you guys anything, it would be the form. Focus on the form. How did Floyd Mayweather become Floyd Mayweather? One, he had to learn how to throw a perfect jab. I'm sure he had trainers just grill it into him the right form. Then he had to throw that jab a million times. I would bet good money he's throwing that jab today. He threw that jab today. I would bet good money on it. Training wasn't training to him. It was a habit. The form you're going to have should be composed by analytics. Database analysis. Flopzilla, Card Runners EV, mathematics. Learn how to throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball into the corner of the strike zone and just always throw that pitch. If they hit it off you, good luck to them. There's nothing you can do. What you don't want to do is play a game that's backed by nothing. You don't want to be a fan that just found his way into the octagon. That's not what you want to do. Back up your plays, everything. Focus on the form. Don't focus on winning or losing. Focus on the form. The training is its own reward. Ugh. Are you playing the same in a cash game? No. This is... Tournaments allow you to play very exploitatively. Exploitatively? You can exploit others because you get about 40 hands with them. So by the time they start figuring stuff out, you go to another table. They don't see you for another couple of years. If I start developing some hands on a guy in my database, yeah, I got to start thinking about frequencies. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, guys. I'm going to wrap it up right now, guys. I really appreciate y'all showing up. If you want to write me at alex@pokerheadrush.com. Do private coaching, do a lot of stuff like that. Thank you guys for attending. I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning. That's on me. Just Airhead signed into the wrong meeting, and I did about a 5-minute intro and couldn't find the question section. All right, Philip, I'll see you Wednesday. I'm glad I made you think, Chuck. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care. Check 1, 2, yes.